Hello Charlie in New Zealand from Dad in Somerset. Now, not sure what you've actually been eating or living on, probably Uber Eats or whatever the version is out there in New Zealand, but I thought I would do you a little video of how to make the world famous Dad's bolognaise. So easy and nutritious. So here we are in the kitchen in Somerset, and here is a little selection of the bits you're going to need. So, not compulsory, but there's leeks, compulsory pepper, compulsory onions, compulsory bacon, mince, beef, this is lean, you don't necessarily need lean, salt, pepper, Italian herbs, red wine. If you want it a bit spiky, you can put some chilies in, a bit of Marmite, no Vegemite, olive oil, chopped tomatoes, and I'm adding kidney beans to mine, but that is not compulsory. And secret ingredient, Heinz tomato ketchup. And also, we're going to need a little bit of tomato puree. You will also need pasta. Now this is our pasta bin, but you can use any pasta. Spaghetti. I'm not going to cook any of this spaghetti because we don't do pasta at the moment, but literally buy some of that, it's cheap as chips, chuck it in a big pan of boiling water, put a bit of salt in it, and do that for about 15-20 minutes, and that will work a treat. So here we go. I'm going to put you up here and hopefully you can see everything. Ooh, don't fall off, stay. So we're going to chop up some onions. We're going to chop up the bacon. And the onions, you can just do them as rough as you want. And then, once that's done, a bit of olive oil in a nice pan, non-stick preferably. And you chuck the onions in and the bacon in and heat it up until it's all nicely sizzling along. And then we're going to put the beef in. So I'll put you on here for a minute. You don't have to see all of this. I'll cut some of it out because we're good here. I'm going to recycle. Now, one of the most important things is red wine. That is essential for cooking. So before we get underway, we'll pour a decent measure of red wine into that, and we're away. Cheers. Right, onions. Onions, really simple. Take the top off there. Take the bottom off. Take the flaky skin bits off. Eventually. And chop it all up. Cut it in half. Nice sharp knife. Right down the middle. So I'm going to do a couple of onions with this one, just because I'm making enough for me and Sal for the week for going to work meals. You probably only need one, or if you make a big batch, it's something you can take to work with you whilst you're tractoring in the fields of New Zealand. There we go, that's the onions. Straight into the pan. Not sure if you can see from there. Move my wine out of the way. Do that, put the hob on. Initially, cook everything up as hot as your hob will go, and then once everything's been added, you just need to turn the hob down to about 2 and just put the lid on and let it do its thing for about an hour is enough. Bit of bacon now, again not essential but a tasty addition. So just slice up the bacon into strips, and then that can go in with the onions as well, just to cook it all up. So I let that do its thing there. Whilst that's cooking away, you can do your peppers. Slice them on the outside, nice and simple. Try and avoid getting all the pips in there. And you're just going to chop these up as well. Don't need to be small, it can be nice and chunky, so that it's all tasty. You probably just hear that the onions are starting to sizzle away, and the bacon. There we are. With this, you can just whack it all about. Don't need to worry too much about anything, just let it do its thing. Don't let it burn, that's the only thing. You want the bacon nicely cooked and you want the onions nicely softened. Just break them all up. And once they're softened and the bacon's cooking nicely, we're going to put the mince in. Right, leave that doing its thing for a minute. More wine. Right, so we've got the peppers there. Here's the mince. I'm going to cut that open and just chuck it in the pan. They're there for recycling. Wash your hands. If you're handling meat, give them a wash. And all I'm going to do with this is to just roughly break up the mince. Mix it all in and let it cook, and you want this to cook off nicely. Doesn't take too long. When it's all nice and brown and cooked, then we're going to add in everything else. So far, onions chopped, bacon chopped, put those in first, let them soften up, and then put in the mince and just keep it all moving. Just like that. And we'll just let that do its thing for a minute. Now, I'm doing leeks, not essential, but I quite like a leek in a bolognaise. So you just take off the ends, top and tail, and you take off one layer. You just chop it up, nice and simple. And that can be nice and rough, doesn't really matter. Right, I'm just going to go back and check on the mince here. It's doing nicely. Now, I'm not sure what cooking things you got, but I'm sure you can find a non-stick pot like this with a lid. And you can cook all sorts of things in this. Right, I'll just show you how it's coming along so you know the colours. So some of that's still a little bit pink, but if you keep moving it, you keep breaking it up, it'll cook nice and quick. See the lump there? Break up that lump. Now that is looking good. So I'm just going to take that off for a sec, and what I'm going to do next is let's get a jug, and in this jug we're going to add some herbs, secret ingredient, ketchup. Not everybody would agree with that, but I like it. Another secret ingredient, a nice big teaspoon of Marmite. Pop that in there. I'm going to do tomato puree, just a dollop. I'm going to put in a few chilies. Don't go too heavy on this, just a few, because you don't want it to be too hot that you can't enjoy it. Some salt. These are all things that you'll find in a shop in New Zealand, I'm sure. Bit of pepper. And just a little bit of water from the tap. And then you can just mix that potion up. And you just pop that to one side for a minute. Right. This is the leeks and the peppers that we did earlier. I'm going to put those in now. And then I'm going to put everything. We lost a leek. We'll put everything back on the hob and just heat it all back up for a minute. Mix it all in, nice and easy. You just want to soften up the peppers and the leeks and just mix it all in with the meat and the onions. Right, tomatoes, ready available in most shops around the world. Pour them in. There we go. Then the concoction that we made. Pour that in as well. If there's any stuff on the spoon, just chuck that in so it all comes off eventually, maybe. There we go, that's off. I'm just going to stir all of that in. I'll pick you up for a minute. I'll show you. So there we go. Now you can literally just put the lid on and put the heat down to 2 and leave that for an hour, but stir it every sort of 10 minutes, and that will be ready to eat and very tasty. Right, I'm going to crack on and just finish up with the red kidney beans because we're doing a slightly different version. But Charlie, that is it, mate. Simple as. And you could double up on the ingredients and that would be enough food for you for a couple of days. And it's nice and healthy. Alright son, hope you enjoy it. Love you very much. Bye.